Hi, everybody. My name's Jimmy Knight, and I'm the director of the Cothran Center for Career Readiness here at Mars Hill University. And this is a continuing series where I like to pick on people who have graduated recently and ask them questions about how they found their fantastic jobs. Today, my special guest is Erin Maennle. And Erin has kind of a unique history to me because she replaced me as the director of annual giving in the fundraising department when I came over to this job. So we've had lots of fun discussions about all kinds of things, about where I buried all the bodies and left all the skeletons. How to run things like phonathon and stuff like that. So, hi, Erin. How are you?
I'm great, Jimmy. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be a part of this great project you have going.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. So tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, what brought you to Mars Hill, and when did you graduate?
I am from Andrews, North Carolina, which is about 2 hours west of Asheville. And I had several family members go to Mars Hill, a cousin that played football, another cousin that just went to be in the education department. So Mars Hill was sort of always on my radar, and there were some great scholarships available, which made it an easy choice for me. So I went and graduated in 2018. My husband is also a Mars Hill graduate, so very near and dear to our hearts, and we're happy to be involved in any way that we can.
Well, that's great. In fact, I need to ask Spencer if he'll do one of these too, because he's got a very interesting story to share with us as well. So let's just dive into what it is that you're doing. Could you give us a little bit of information about where you work, what your job title is, and give us a slice of life? What's the day in the life like for you?
Sure. I work at Harrah's Cherokee Casino Resort and Harrah's Cherokee Valley River. So that is a casino in Cherokee, North Carolina, and our sister property in Murphy. And I work on the special events and promotions team. So my specific title is Regional Special Events and Promotions Coordinator. So what we do is we plan large scale VIP events as well as smaller events for our targeted group of people that we're trying to bring into the casino. And then we also put on promotions where they're property wide. So obviously it's going to involve the larger 7-star players, but also our gold, platinum, and diamond players as well. And then another thing we do is build incentive programs. And so anytime our CSM team brings in a company like, for example, MetLife or another large organization to have a conference on property, we build incentive programs where we award free play to all those guests that come on property. So something I'm working on currently, I'm planning a golf tournament for some VIP guests. I'm also working on a drop and win promotion. We have like Plinko from The Price is Right.
Yeah.
So when I get project assigned, it's always going to have a different theme and a different set of rules that we have to follow. So there's not a single day that's the same for me.
Sounds very familiar. Um, so so how did you find out about Harrah's, and what was the process like for you applying for that job? And then we'll talk about the interview process in just a second.
Sure. So my husband Spencer actually got a job at the casino first, and we were commuting about, he was commuting an hour away, and I was in Asheville still. And so I kind of felt like I needed to make the move as well. So when I first onboarded at the casino, I started as a casino host. And this wasn't necessarily the job that I wanted to keep. This was just door. So when I was in this role, I was taking care of guests, inviting guests to property. Once they got there, checking in on them, seeing what they needed from us. And I saw the events and promotions job open, and that was something that I felt like was a good mix of what I used to do at Mars Hill and what I was currently doing at the casino, a nice blend of things. And so I saw that job, and I was like, that's what I think my next step is going to be. So did some prep work for that, and eventually was onboarded into that. I will say, working at the casino before externally and internally. So you may have to start in the casino in a position that you don't necessarily want to stay in long term, but it's a great way to get inside. And a lot of the jobs that we have don't ever make it external because internal applicants fill them first.
That's really kind of an interesting thing, because one of the things that I try to tell people is look for organizations that harp on and exhibit a commitment to internal growth of their employees. Do you feel that that is part of the culture there at Harrah's?
Absolutely. They want people to come on board and they want them to stay. They always tell us in new hire, you know, if you're not happy with what you're doing currently, see some side of things, because they will do whatever it takes to keep you there. So if you're not happy, we will find you something else somewhere within the casino. So there's always, you know, something I think, like, I want to bust this myth here. They think, you know, if you go and work at the casino, you're going to be a blackjack dealer or a cocktail server. That is so far from the truth. There are so many opportunities. You know, it's $1 billion industry. We have human resources, we have marketing, we have internal casino hosts, we have just so many different departments that, you know, business major could come into, or anyone really. So, you know, don't let the gaming side of things deter you from coming to the casino, because there are a lot more opportunities, I think, than people realize.
No doubt. Now, isn't the parent company a global company as well?
Yes. So Caesars, that is who manages both of our casinos.
Okay. Yeah, that is not a small organization. They are everywhere and massive. So I would really encourage our students who might have a thirst for adventure to check it out, because I have watched you and your husband on this progressive arc, and it's been very fascinating. And so I just wanted to spread the news about that. So if you would tell us a little bit about how you prepped for your first set of interviews with the casino.
So the first thing that I did was just get online and sort of search for the job title that I was hoping to interview for, and then just see what kind of questions populated and just get a little more comfortable with things like that. And then I also reached out to other people that were actually working in the casino and asked them, you know, you've been through this process. What did it look like for you? Are there any questions that you can think of, you know, off the top of your head that I should prepare myself for? And then I wanted to add that once you get inside the casino, there is a department that actually helps people prepare for interviews, and I think it's called talent development. So that's all for internal applicants. So one thing that I'm working on now is I've basically written a list of goals where I see myself, where I'd like to be at this point in my career, at this age, etc. And I've shared that with the manager in that department. She's been really wonderful. So one of the things, I have a specific position that I'm sort of trying to attain by a certain time. So I reached out to her, and she had her team actually set up a mock interview with me. And obviously they're not going to share all of the interview questions with me, but they, you know, this is an XYZ job grade, so the questions are going to be in line with this. And so I went in, dressed the part like it was a real interview, and they actually interviewed me. And then after we were finished, they went back and gave me feedback on all of the different aspects of the interview. You know, you were really strong here. We think you can improve here. And that was really helpful, just to have some experts that had conducted hundreds of interviews to examine me.
That is so significant. Mm-hmm. That is evidence of a company that is truly investing in their people. And again, that's just something that I try to coach people to look for. You know, look for that evidence of a company that is interested in your growth. That's great. Wow. So thinking back at your time at Mars Hill, was there an event, an experience, or a relationship that helped you the most in getting ready for the world of work, or any kind of personal development that you recall?
So my in the business department currently, I believe. When I first started, she was my mentor, and then I eventually had several classes with her throughout my time at Mars Hill. And one of her classes in particular, development. I think personal growth, but also, introducing me to books that I think every great leader should read, like Seven Habits of Highly Effective People comes to mind right off the bat. But just, I built a really great relationship with her over my time at Mars Hill. And then when I eventually stepped into the Mars Hill Fund director, she actually was reached out to by Bud, who was the vice president of advancement, and she spoke highly of me, which I think was influential in Bud's decision to move forward with me. So anytime you can build a relationship with someone on campus, I think it's a great way to, help you professionally.
Awesome. That's great advice. So as we wrap up, one of my favorite questions is for you to think back to where you were as a 17, 18-year-old first year college student and coming onto campus. Is there anything that you would advise that person today? Anything? What would you like to tell Erin of long ago?
Yeah.
What would you like to say to yourself?
A big thing would just be to put yourself out there. I am an extrovert, but I'm not the type that wants to just meet new people at every place I am. But I think that anytime you can meet new people, talk a little bit, have them get to know you so that when they see you, they recognize you, I think is a great thing. I was a little more reserved in my time at Mars Hill, but I think just don't shut out an opportunity just because you may have not been. I think anytime you have an opportunity to learn or to grow or to take an internship, that's a huge one for me. I wish I would have done an internship while I was on summer break, just at a big company, so that it's an easier transition for you to go from intern to full-time employee. I've been trying to work on that in my current role. So one of the things that I've done when I reached out to the talent development manager, I told her about my goals. And I also told her, I said, I want to get to know the different women in leadership roles at the casino. So I wrote a list of the different vice presidents that I wanted to speak with, just so when they see me in the hallway, they know me. They've had a conversation with me. Maybe I impress them. So when a job comes open, they think, Erin, we had a great conversation. She was really passionate about marketing. Maybe we should tell her to put in for the position. So anytime you can make a relationship with someone and have a mentor, I can really month with some women in leadership, and it's just really great to be around people who have been there, done that, who can share their wisdom with you. I've learned so much, and I would encourage any young female, anyone in general, just to go out and find mentors, someone that you aspire to be, so that you can learn from them.
That's awesome advice. I really, really appreciate that. Couldn't have written it better. So we'll wrap up right now. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your words of wisdom. And I look forward to seeing you when you're on campus next and or at any of the alumni events that may be taking place soon. So thank you. And we'll just bid it farewell and stop the recording here just for a second. And then
Absolutely.
talk to you soon.
All right.